Okay, I'm going to carry on doing the intercessors. I think I called it incessors in the last video. I must have not read the T. It does happen sometimes. Now, what I'm going to do is I've got 4 of the intercessors here. This 5th one I'm going to do as the sergeant. So I'm going to do that one when I actually add the Dark Angel specifics in the next video. So he's going to be a Dark Angel sergeant, so there's special weapons and shoulder guards and so on. Anyway, so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to put the bolt rifles, I think they're called, on these models. Now you've got a bit of freedom on this, which is a good thing. You can actually pick and choose what you want to put on them. I'm finding it quite interesting because obviously we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it looks like we've got like almost sort of 8 possible combinations here that we can choose from, which, you know, I'm really pleased about. Far too many models now just don't have any options. Now, when you're doing this, you've got to make sure that you pair up the correct arms together. So if you've got number 15 over here, you're going to make sure that you pair it up to arm 16 and so on. I'm going to start off with number 15 actually, because I like this. Looks like one of the more standard ones. Now you'll notice there's a big hole in the actual weapon. Now let me just show you something here. So what happens is you've got an interesting set of options here. So you can have curved magazines, straight magazines, looks like magazines without sights attached if you prefer it that way. So there are quite a few options. I've kind of for the most part gone with the straight magazine with the sight on top, but of course, you know, you do have to watch out because you'll get a few like this one where he's loading a magazine where it's got a curved clip. And, you know, to be quite honest, a little bit of variety is not bad, but for the most part I do want to feel like they've all got their equipment from a standard place. So I'm going to try and make sure that most of them have the straight clip. So I'm going to pop that out, and then this will serve as this entire weapon. Now, because there's a shoulder pad going on here, make sure you clean it up thoroughly. Don't get lazy and think because it's not seen, it's not an issue. You know, you're going to be putting something on that later on. Make sure you clean out the barrel. And just do a quick check now. Obviously, hard part is going to be cleaning this up because it's small pieces. I don't want to risk filing off any details. Yeah, again, you can see there I've not quite filed off that mold line, and it's making it difficult to get the clip in the gun. When I first did the other ones, you put the clip in the gun according to the instructions afterwards. What I found happened then is that you're trying to push this onto something that's trying to hold and glue. There we go. Whereas if you put it in advance, it's a bit easier. Now, glue there, and then glue there. Now, it's different ways of doing this. So obviously, if you were to have a look at this, it kind of slides in here quite neatly. Now, what you'll find though is that obviously it might not properly line up on this side if you do it like that, but see, you don't want things like this with Space Marines. You can see how when it's gone on, this arm has dropped too far. It's really important to make sure that your arms are in the right position. Now, this has always been a problem with Space Marine models for me. And we're not just talking about Primaris, we are just talking about Space Marine models in general, from Firstborns all the way up to Primaris, all the way back to Horus Heresy style. Is this, the gun and the arms, when they're bent inwards, make it very difficult to get the gun past the chest piece. And you can see here it's right squished up against it and it doesn't quite work. Now you can see as a result I'm having to raise that gun very high up on the model, which will block the face. However, it depends what your pose you want to give. So if you look carefully at this model and its positioning, it looks like the gun's too high. However, if I just go grab a helmeted head, and again you get a lot of choices of heads on this. You've got quite a variety of heads, including like heads that are bare and so on. Because the Dark Angels and secrecy is the watchword, of course I'm probably going to be sticking to helmetless, but there's some really nice heads on these, and I think they would look great, you know, if you've got, again, a kind of a chapter where you want to give the impression of, I don't know, like a little less strictness. Anyway, back to this head. So I'm just going to pop this in here. And then, as I said, the gun looks very high up. However, if you do it right, I can get this head in, you can tilt the head in a way so that it makes sense. So in this case, rather than him looking down the barrel of a gun, he's shifting his gun so that he's looking outwards at a potential threat, and he's about to kind of move the gun toward the enemy. So he's changing his basically with this one and making him look like he's shifting position. So, you know, it can work. If you don't like that, then the best thing is with the gun is just to simply choose a different model to put it on. Right. Now, moving along from there, I think what I have is, I'll go for 31 and 32. So you know, there are some quite interesting little additional pieces. I'm not going to glue those on because I don't like gluing those on until I've done the main spray, and you know, really done all the main armor, paint those separately and just add them later. Well, that's that part, and then of course I need a clip. And back over here, I'm gonna grab one of these straight clips out. So it's up to you. If you want a bit more variety, then go for, you know, more than one clip style. And again, you know, you can suggest that you've got a Space Marine force that's a bit less organised, you know, due to how they work. And then again, let's just pop this in before I try and attach it. Again, let's get this ready and attached. In fact, I'm going to put the glue on this side. Okay, so let me work out where this arm goes. I've gone off. I feel like my camera's too far in today for this session. There we go. Must be completely off there. Okay, and then again, find the one that you like, slide it in. Yep, and there we go. This guy, obviously more of a arm down. Go find myself a head again. So again, any of these will do. I can't see much major difference between each individual head. I'm just really pleased that you get a nice balance of helmeted versus unhelmeted. I have to admit, you know, you could really do something nice with these, couldn't you? I wish I was one of those person who my skills were enough that I could convert these into some Night Lords. There we go. So this time, rather than looking away from the gun, he's not looking down the barrel, he's kind of assessing forward. Okay, now next one. So I'm going to go for this number 23 over here, and it attaches to 24 arm there. I need to grab myself one of those clips as well. Again, straight clip just because I want a bit of continuity. I think if I do ever start a Primaris army, which isn't overly likely, these aren't really for me, these are for someone else I'm building them for. I don't know if I would go Dark Angels or go for my own chapter. Like I've had this Dark Angels Successor chapter years ago, but doing the same thing twice doesn't really appeal to me. Even though it would be upgraded to all Primaris and so on. I seem to want to stick on that side, this. Yeah, I think if anything, actually, if I did a Primaris, I would probably even consider doing the Crimson Fists. Because I do love my Crimson Fists. I think just partly because my Horus Heresy Imperial Fists are going to be led by Alexis Pollitz. Go grab another helmet again. Don't need to overdo this, but I'm going to go for one of them. Just twist it off. Still tidy up there. and then he's again looking outwards. You don't always have to be looking down the barrel of a gun, they can be planning. Ooh, knocked my camera a bit there. Okay, so down to the last one, so you just got to decide which final weapon. Now, looking here, so a couple of nice little options. Let me have a look. So we've got this one here that looks like it's in more of a rested position. I've already done one with a strap for the others. I don't want to repeat that one. So I feel like potentially this 52 might work. And maybe let's just double check that it's not. Because you've got 52 there, and you've got an arm fit. Yeah, so 50 and 51 go together. So yeah, 52 looks like it's in more of a tucked under position of the arm, not being aimed, which then suggests to me that what we're looking at here is this 55 potentially, so that he's pulling a combat knife out ready. Okay, let's just so again we've got now, in a lot of ways it's about deciding where you want to kind of position, and a lot of the position of that bolt gun is going to kind of come down to the way that you fit this arm. It's very important to consider what looks like a natural arm position. So if he's kind of looks like he's, if you look carefully at the model's kind of stepping in that direction, so it's like he's moving to maybe make a downward stab. Then you've got to think about kind of where his gun's going to be held. And then, you know, too far back it looks weird, too far forward it just looks like he's in a weird, you know, he's not stepping in the right direction. So again, it's just choosing a position that looks like he's got the bolt gun ready just in case someone sees him, basically, on his attempt at a backstab. Again, grabbing my helmet, nice and simple. Oop. Falling helmets. There we go. Got him in quite a sly position there. Nice. Okay. Right, so basically that is how in the Intercessors we choose the overall layout. What it does is it kind of allows us to pretty much now put whatever chapter symbols we want on the shoulders, which I will do in the next video when I also build the champion.